Avar looked tired. The events of the recent past have taken their toll. The Starlight Beacon had been dragged from one disaster to another, planet after planet. This was its purpose, to make the frontier a safer place. But the Jedi on board were weary, especially after the incident on the planet Xais. Avar had attempted to prevent Lourna from fleeing using every ounce of her willpower, even with a fellow Jedi still in desperate need. And yet, she failed. Lourna's ship flew off, leaving Avar to lament on their failure. As the Jedi discussed the latest crisis on the planet Eiram, Avar was unable to contain her frustration. She pushes aside the topic of discussion and inquires about the Nihil path drive being attached to the ataraxia. Stellan Gios advises caution of its use, but Avar was in no mood to entertain the council member. The Nihil's recent ability to turn the Jedi into dust should be and is the main concern. Caution be damned. Based on the records found on the path drive, the Nihil operate from a base called the Great Hall, located in no space. According to intel obtained on Lourna, the Nihil are stationed there, protected by vacuum shields. Yet, despite all the information at hand, Stellan still advises more caution, requesting for a scout ship be sent to verify the intel. But Avar was done waiting. The recent Nihil attacks on the Jedi would be answered for. The Marshal orders preparations to be made for the launch of the ataraxia, with or without the blessing of the Council. As Keeve looks on at the developing events, she can't help but feel a sense of failure. She failed to protect her fellow Jedi. She should have been stronger. Standing next to the twins, she sheds a tear in remorse. Just then, as Stellan enters the room, he inquires about the state of the twins, to which Keeve responds that they are at the very least alive. Estella then turns to other matters. He requested that Keeve keeps an eye on the Marshal. He fears that Avar has allowed her emotions to get the better of her. A deep anger that started with Velo and has now since begun to rise to the surface. And this clouds her judgment. Keeve replies that she is flattered that he would entrust her with this, but if there is anyone who should be looking after Avar, it's Sskeer. But at the moment, that would be too difficult. Following Lourna's escape, Avar attempts to contact the ataraxia, demanding that Lourna's ship be tracked down. Sskeer protests and points out that there are Jedi in need of attention, and injuries that need healing. But Avar uncharacteristically snaps back. He, of all people, no longer had the right to advise her. It was Sskeer that defied direct orders. It was him that engaged the Nihil like an uncontrolled beast. To Avar, the Trandoshan was no longer worthy of being a Jedi. And with that, she demanded the former Jedi to hand over his lightsaber and to await the judgment of the Council. Sskeer meditates alone in his room, but he is then interrupted by a series of beeps on the door control. As Keeve enters the room, he states that the two need to talk. Ever since the incident Sskeer has hid away in his chambers, surely this was not her old master. But Sskeer remains adamant that there is nothing he should do. Avar was right. Keeve asked him to open up, to trust her, to which he responds that he has never trusted anyone more. The problem is, could he trust himself? Sskeer explains that a diagnosis has been made. It is called the Magrak syndrome, a disease particular to Trandoshans that over time forces the brain to give in to its base urges of aggression and rage. Sskeer has tried to deal with the issue, but the toll was too much, and it has compromised his ability to connect with the Force. There is a chance that he may never do so again. But Keeve is adamant that her master must not give up. After all, is that not what her master has taught her after all these years? She relays that Estella wants her to keep an eye on the Marshal, but she needs him by her side. With or without the Force, he still has the duties of a Jedi to fulfill. Aboard the ataraxia, the crew begin preparations to launch. As Keeve steps onto the bridge, Sskeer follows behind. To convince Avar, Keeve promises to keep an eye on her master. In a silent agreement, she orders everyone to their positions. And with that, the ataraxia leaves the Starlight Beacon straight into the homeland of the Nihil. So that was what happened in issue 12 of the High Republic. Even though it wasn't a very action-packed issue, it sure was an emotional one. The issue really does set up the stakes for the next issue, and it's gonna be pretty interesting to see the rising tensions and rifts between the Jedi. As we begin to understand Sskeer's condition more and more, I really can't help but wonder if Avar will be the Jedi that falls to the dark side. What do you think? Leave it in the comments down below, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. I am the Lost Acolyte,
and I have spoken.